Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going well and you're enjoying it, you may as well upgrade a little bit.
All right, let's do the intro.
Intro.
Let's roll it in.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B., and this is Coffee Break Conversations for the 21st century. Some people like to say the 20th or maybe the 19th century. That's wrong. It's Coffee Break Conversations for the 21st century, so make sure you
Yes,
guys
sir.
update that on your Rolodexes and what have yous.
Correct. 21st.
I'm
I actually still have a Rolodex.
We're going to leave that one unaddressed. I have with me returning guests, Will H.,
Hello all.
Jeffrey K.
How you doing, guys?
I actually have the technology now that I can put your names underneath each of you.
Oh,
we
sweet.
say that. I can do it. I might not. I might just be too lazy.
You just got fancy on us since the
Yeah.
last time.
Well, there's a green screen up there now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
It's up there. I haven't used it yet.
I'm going to be a Mandalorian in this, aren't I?
No. That's
You don't have the rights for it.
Well, I don't have the rights for it, and I don't have the time and energy to actually do that. Nor do I care enough to do that.
You don't want to make me Mandalorian on a DeLorean? Like,
Nope.
that's
No, do not.
not for the holiday season.
Absolutely don't. All right, so I asked you fine gentlemen here this week to talk about something that I've been dying to talk about, and I've wanted to do this now, and I'm actually glad I got the two of you. You guys are already friends.
Yes.
It helps this whole thing flow, and you're drinking alcoholic adult beverages,
That helps
which also
everything
helps.
flow.
Always.
Yeah, I want to talk about bad advice. So, for those of you watching or listening, I'm sure we've all gotten some pretty horrible, shitty advice in our day. Some of it sounds good. Some of it that we've probably even followed
Sure.
for extended amounts of time. And only to find out that it was terrible and wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad advice out there.
Are you okay, Will? You seem very nervous right now.
No, I'm not nervous at all. I'm old.
is
and
this-
tired.
He
Is
just
there
gets
some-
he just gets serious on this stuff.
You got a little serious. I'm wondering, is everything okay?
I'm fine.
Everything fine at home? You know,
Everything's great.
How come I can't see your arms? You hiding something? You
No.
hiding bruises?
No, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
All right. Well, I'm glad everything's fine. But
Thank you. Thank you.
let's fucking jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So
Well, this was before we even got started on this. What I was saying was, you gave us homework on this. It was tough, and I don't want to say it like I've never gotten bad advice. I don't know if I just have like PTSD on it and don't remember it, and I'm blocking it out. I could not land on like a specific thing that someone said to me that was terrible. I'm sure I've gotten it. There's no doubt. You know our crowd that we've grown up with. I'm sure I've gotten
a
terrible
lot of it
advice
we've
somewhere.
given each other.
Yeah.
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 I may have given it to you. You may have given it to me. I cannot land on a specific thing, but I came to like a lot of like bullet points of things that people hear over the years that are just general bad advice.
Yeah, that's
Right. Same here.
that's about where I fell. There's a couple that I can specifically remember instances of being told like this horrible advice, but for a lot of it, it's just it seems like they kind of drip of like over the
Right.
years you hear it
Right.
from random people, and you just
Exactly.
kind of internalize it.
So in a fun experiment, which I don't know if you saw, I know you saw.
I did.
I saw it online.
Okay.
By the way, Ryan had some good ones that he gave
Well,
you.
his first
From
one.
from a personal from his personal
his first
background.
personal one was interesting, which I mean we'll laugh at that one in a little bit, but yeah, I
Just make
figured-
sure you don't say his last name.
no, it's fine.
Correct.
But
And I made sure not to take that, put that advice on my list either.
right,
'cause
but
can't.
I figured that would be an interesting one too because there is now, hey, we referenced your thing on the podcast. Let's hear how we talked about it. So it brought some other people into this as well. Because I really couldn't come up with anything.
All right, well, here's how we'll do. We'll just kind of go this way.
All right.
So, since I am the host, I will. Do you have a question?
No, I was just showing.
Oh,
I was
I wasn't-
illustrating which way we were going.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you were raising.
Didn't
your
know if we were
hand.
going to spin the bottle to see who started first.
Guys, I'm nervous. Okay.
I thought you were trying to see if you were secretly Doctor Strange and didn't know this whole time.
Still not sure.
I talked about. Side note: before we start, I talked about that with this guy Bobby, a friend of mine, on an earlier episode. about like, do you ever like lay in bed and just kind of reach your hand out and just test if you have any telekinetic powers? Like, can the remote move? Am I kind of a Jedi?
I think we all have.
It's weird because
Yeah.
when I do that, my wife moves. So
Yeah.
I don't know how. I guess it must be.
Okay.
I'm strange. Okay.
Welcome to the club. Why do you think we're all friends? All right. Number one, you got to go to college.
It's on my list.
On my list
Is
also.
it? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a unanimous
Good.
one.
Good.
I love that one.
Yeah, I didn't go. I went to community college. I went for a semester. I didn't finish. I was an art major because I wanted to be a tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's like, well, you could go to community college. You can get an art degree for that and be a tattoo artist. I'm like, I don't think that's how they do it, but if you insist, well, that's fine. And I ended up doing like sculpture classes and like learning Photoshop. I was like, I don't think this is going to help me be a tattoo artist.
I don't think so.
So
No.
then I dropped out. I dropped out so I can join the Marines, which I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to community college. But I'll be a business major this time because I don't like all the weird artsy teachers. Are kind of like too hippie-ish for me.
Yeah, a little
Right.
So then I dropped out again because like this sucks. I would rather go work with my hands, and that's where I am now.
bit. And that was probably your best move.
It honestly was.
Yeah.
Like we're here if not for working with my hands and getting dirty and calling people fucktards all the time. Like, I wouldn't be able to afford all this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You might not have had the idea for this either. Might have been in a whole different realm, you know. But no, same for me. Very very minimal college experience. Yeah, I wasn't really the best student when it came to high school. You know, I messed around a lot, so kind of made it by the seat of my pants. But college was never something on my radar. You know, I never really. My grades were terrible only because I didn't go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So then college was just. So I did go to a couple classes, and how I was in high school transitioned to college, and I shouldn't be making kids laugh in college classes. You know, I shouldn't be a class clown. So I kind of figured that was. And then I just kind of stepped in shit from there. You know, I ended up working with an ex-girlfriend of mine's father. I became a graphic designer, all self-taught. And then from there, everything kind of just spiraled. And now where I'm at now is just completely, you know, I work in recycling. I'm doing logistics. Best job as far as, you know, making money and stability I've ever had. And it's all just because I, you know, stepped outside of my comfort zone. But it has nothing to do with college whatsoever.
Well, that's the big thing, stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's the only way you grow.
Yeah.
It's the only time you learn anything.
When my wife was pregnant with Olivia, I had left that or I'd gotten laid off from that good job that I had with my ex-girlfriend's father, and I was working 4 days a week at a business card printing place, and just it was barely making it. And you know, when my wife got pregnant, I was like, I got to do something because this isn't cutting it. You know, and my aunt has worked for the company that I'm at for 30 years, something like that. And they just happen to have an opening, and I've been there for 9 years. And, you know, I don't foresee ever leaving, nor do I foresee them ever getting rid of me.
Well, that's
You know?
good. That's a home run then.
Yeah, it was just perfect.
As long as you're not like showing up every day, just you know, kind of laying down on the floor hoping the copier falls in your head. Like
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, well.
I mean, listen, it doesn't have to be all tits and glitz every day, but as long as you can, I don't want to say it. See, this is where I don't know. Do you have to enjoy it?
Well, that's another bit of advice.
I feel like work. We're gonna get to this.
Yeah.
Different conversation.
You know, Jeffo, you actually went to college. You have a degree, correct?
So as we discussed on a previous episode, yeah, I attended Rutgers University. I went there to play lacrosse, and I think the only reason I went was because I wanted to play lacrosse. I wanted to pursue athletics at a higher level. Hindsight being what it is, I probably would have went to a Division III school. As mentioned in the previous episode, playing D1 sports while trying to pursue a degree and everything, it's like having two full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would have went to some place where I could have played and not had it be as intense while still pursuing the degree. But at the end of the day, I have a degree in psychology that, yes, with what I've done with careers over the years and where I'm at now, does help me a lot. But I'm one of the lucky ones that like got out of stuff without of a lot of debt, without of a lot of the headache that some of the people coming out of college do have. I think when I left, I might have had like $40,000 in loans.
Which is a lot of money, but comparatively,
comparatively
right.
to what you see kids leaving with today. And when I came out, I was selling cars. At first, I was bartending and stuff, and then I got a job selling cars, and I ended up managing a multi-million-dollar dealership, managing Infinities and stuff. So I had my student loans paid off by the time I was 26. Like, I was out of school 4 years and had my loans paid off because all I did was just throw money at them every month. So I took a different route and kind of figured out how to get out from under it because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And
well, see, that is the thing, though. So many people that come out of college just completely saddled with just like crazy amounts of debt, and they're kind of limited in what they can do because if they want to follow their passion, so to speak, probably not going to make as much money as if they just got the solid job, and then you end up getting caught in this cycle.
Yeah.
Where you're just trying to pay off this like never-ending debt.
Exactly.
Well, all of us kind of have like an artistic background, so to speak. Musicians, photography, whatever we've done over the years, we all have kind of a passion.
Legos.
Yeah, Legos, Pokemon, whatever.
Pokemon's not artistic unless you're designing your own.
You could get there.
I could.
But you know what I'm saying? Like we all kind of have something it's not. We're not like surgeons. We're not that type of people. We've all kind of been artistic. It was something that I just wanted to pursue athletics. Being outside of it now and doing music and stuff like that, like I kind of wish I would have taken a different route because I may have gotten to something different, but I'm happy with where I ended up. So I'm not mad at it. But one thing I always sticks in my head, my team from a couple years ago, we had a couple of the seniors come out and talk to the kids when I want to say they were in 5th grade. And the seniors, where are you going to play? What are you going to do? What's this? The one kid had a scholarship to Rutgers. The other kid was going to play at York. And the third kid that came out to talk to him, he was a little like shy about it. And this, I want you to speak to this too, because he was like, well, I'm going to school to be a plumber. And he said it almost like he was embarrassed. And I was like, Jake, don't say it like that. And one of the kids on my team, Johnny, his dad owns one of the largest plumbing companies in this area. I was like, Johnny, what's your dad do? He's a plumber. I go, where do you live? And he named a street, which is one of the ritzy streets up on the mountain.
Yep.
I was like, dude, don't be embarrassed that you're going to school to be a plumber. I'm like, you're going to be out in 18 months and making.
No, for sure. I mean, listen, trades are a very solid thing to get
It is.
Pause for 1 sec.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Just had a moment of anxiety.
You okay? You haven't been filming?
Everything's fine. No, I did another podcast earlier today, and I went to hit record on the Zoom call, and I guess I missed it, so it didn't start, and I realized like 15 minutes in. So I told the guy, like, listen, bro, when this is all over, we're going to have to do the intro one more time. Because I lost the first 15 minutes. And he noticed, too, right away. He's like, oh, I just saw a recording thing start. Is that? I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
Just to repeat everything you said for the last 15 minutes, please.
All right, let's move on to your Will.
All right, let's see. Well,
I actually think, but based on how much we got out of that first one,
yeah.
I think we're not even going to get to all of these.
Oh, no,
Probably
no,
not.
No, I
Yeah.
don't anticipate that.
So pick your best ones, your heavy hitters.
Well, best ones. I saw Jeff has a couple that I have, so I'm just gonna I'll pass those over. One that you can probably agree with, Jeff. Maybe he's not in that realm, but don't go to bed angry.
That's bad advice?
Terrible advice. Terrible advice. It's not always the best thing to do. Sometimes you need that time to just take a break. Like, the last thing that you want to do is argue about something when you're fucking exhausted. You've been.
That's what I've been doing all
Well,
these years.
But no, I mean, I think that it's better not to try to work things out and fall asleep happy in hopes that you'll fall asleep happy. I think sometimes it's better just to have that time to really stew it over, depending upon what the issue is that caused the anger. Maybe you don't agree. But in my mind, I think that it's, again, you could end up being up all night still trying to iron something out, and it's a never ending thing. You're both gonna be running your feet, not getting anywhere. Sometimes I think you just need that. Let's take a break.
So
Let's wake up refreshed, and then we'll go back. Just
We'll fight well rested.
I think that in my mind was bad advice.
So I'll speak to that for a second, just from how I am as
Make sure
a
you're talking into the mic, son.
person. Just from how I am as a person. My ex, we will not mention her name, but you will know who I am talking about, I'm sure, would never let anything go. And
Now, when you say never let it go, like never let it go to the next day, or just never let it go at all in general?
never let it go to the next day.
Okay.
Where I know me and my attitude is like, if I need to process something, I need to get into a certain mind frame, so to speak, because I don't want to make things a knockdown, drag out, like blow up thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a discussion. Yeah, it may get a little heated, but like I want to deal with it like adults. And she would just push. And I'm like, I need to go for a run. I need to go I need to do something. I need to get away from you. No, why? And she would push it to the point that I would just explode.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became the worst fight ever, which is not how I want to deal with things.
Yeah.
Like, we're adults. Like, there's no reason for me to be screaming about things and things like that. Like,
I think we've all been there, right? Like,
Absolutely.
it
could you
happens.
just let me give me a second to process. Don't, and then
Right.
like, well, yeah, you do that, and
Right.
literally, like you said, it's just poke.
Right.
Poke.
Exactly.
Now you did it.
Now you've done
Now
it.
you did it.
And it's going to happen, but this was a constant thing. Like, she just would never let it go. She always had to push it to that point. And that's where you said, like, sometimes you just need to take that space, process your thoughts, because you don't want to say something that you can't take back.
I've done that. I think we all have. I mean,
We all
not
have.
just me.
Still
But
getting re-
I just
still
don't
getting
have the ring
reminded of
that
it, like,
I just
3
don't have
years
the
later.
ring to deal with it on.
Remember what you said 3 Christmases ago?
boy, do I.
No, I actually I never really thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't expect that would be one, but it makes sense because how many times do you stay up all night trying to fix something only to just be up all night and nothing got fixed?
That's
So-
why I can say that that's bad advice, because I've been there. You know, we've definitely, I mean, at any marriage, you'll have fights, and sometimes they're minor, sometimes they're major. And, the major ones, there's definitely been some nights where I can say that we've had some, sleepless ones where we're just still arguing.
Been there.
And it's just better, even if it's a minor fight. It doesn't have to be like so much going to bed angry. It's just more about taking the time not to keep going.
Yeah.
Take the time, separate, reconvene at a later time when things kind of calm down a little bit. Maybe you could talk civilly
Yeah.
and try to iron it out versus.
It'd be cool if you could just, like, if you're at the point and, the marriage is secure enough, be like, listen, I love you. Do you love me? Yes. Let's finish this fight tomorrow because we both need sleep. Cool down. If it could be literally that
Easy.
simple. Well, not even, because it's not even like saying, like, all right, forget about the fight. It's like saying, we're going to circle back to this, but we both recognize we're not going anywhere. Like, we're not going to leave in the middle of the night. Like, let's just go to sleep
Yeah.
and we can attack this when we have some time.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff O.
So I've got a few. So let's pick.
Give me one. Give me one.
All right. Let's go with this one. Everything happens for a reason.
It's the most hollow, fucking empty phrase
terrible.
ever invented. Everything happens for a reason. Really?
Yeah.
So,
I deserve this.
what about that poor kid that got molested by the priest? That happened for a reason?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
like, they never think about
So
it.
this
I
is
know.
the bullet point that I came up with after thinking about this. It's actually something that people use to justify their own or others' bad behavior.
Yeah.
Like,
Makes sense.
Well, it's just like saying, it is what it is. They said, I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to say this very...
See, but that's not
I
even as bad as this one, because like, it is what it is like, I don't know how to help you here. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what to say on this. Like,
Hey, listen, this is happening to you.
Say shit happens. It's the same thing. I'm just giving it to you straight.
yeah. I think it's shit
But
happens.
everything happens for a reason. Like, it seems like it's a way of justifying and making you just compliant with shitty things.
Just be happy for the shit that was handed to
Yeah.
you.
Here's your shit sandwich. Be happy that you got a sandwich.
Some
with
kids don't
something
even
on it.
have a shit sandwich.
Right.
That's right.
Some kids are stuck eating shit sashimi. They don't have the bread.
Those poor
Yeah,
kids.
and it makes you almost sit back and just take what would come again the next time. Like, oh, this happened last time. Oh, okay, so this sucks again, but there's a reason for it. No, like,
No.
yeah, maybe the reason is probably that other person or whatever the situation might be, that job, that person, that whatever sucks. Do something about it.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
we've become so complacent, I think, with
All right, let
things
me-
are just going to come to us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not sure how you guys are going to react to this because I don't know.
Mhm.
It's kind of like saying it's all part of God's plan.
I'm
Yeah.
appalled.
Yeah, me being a pretty firm agnostic, like that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Like that's dumb. That's not. God doesn't have a plan.
So from a like religious standpoint, I'm not a church going person. Like there's things that I say like you can't explain. There has to be some type of whatever that you can't explain stuff on. But I'm not like, oh, he's sitting up there going, yeah, Jeff's doing this today. Let me flip that switch and
Yeah, exactly. It's literally as simple as like, okay, do you think God is all powerful and all good? It's like, okay, well, if he's all powerful, then he's not all good because he's doing some pretty horrible shit out there.
Right.
And if that's not him, then that just proves he's not all powerful. So
Right.
which
it's,
is it?
it's part of his plan, and it,
Yeah.
it all happens for a reason.
That's part of his plan for a poor kid with Down syndrome to get fist fucked at a summer camp.
Right.
Like really? I don't know
Well-
why every time I name a bad thing, it involves child molestation.
But yeah, again,
I don't know what that is.
Excuse me.
were you an altar boy or something? Like,
no, I wasn't.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's
I wasn't
just
one of the chosen few.
that whole thing. It's just justifying bad shit, and it lets you sit back and continue to justify bad
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
as it comes to you.
That was a good one, bro.
No, that is a good one.
I have one that's kind of funny and silly.
Uh-oh.
Let's go. We need some fun after that one.
I'm just gonna read the quote. Okay.
Does it have anything to do with fist fucking?
No.
Okay.
Here,
Sorry, Jeff.
Not while I'm drinking.
Sorry.
drink this. No. All right. Here we go. Here's the quote. It looks like you're using an ad blocker. Please turn it off to continue viewing this page. Sound familiar to anyone?
No, actually, it doesn't.
Let me
No.
just say this. That's how you get porn viruses on your computer.
I was gonna say what porn were. I was about to say what porn were you trying to look at?
Well, that's exactly
It's
what it is.
fist fucking. I
When-
told you it was coming
When
back
you're
up.
like a high school kid trying to look at internet porn, and they said, "Oh, they turn the spam blocker off or whatever the antivirus is not letting you," and you turn it off. Pop, 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 pop.
All right, you're right. That would be terrible advice.
That's terrible advice, and it wasn't a human that gave it to me.
Yes, my phone doesn't have those pop-ups, so I don't know.
Well, not on the phone. I'm talking. This is back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah,
You know,
I
when,
can't say.
like malware was a big.
oh no, I
worry.
remember.
The one that I can remember getting a ridiculous virus on stepdad number one's computer
Okay.
was the Elf bowling program that
Yeah.
everyone downloaded
Stupid elf bowling.
when I want to say I was like 11 or 12, and it gave everyone a virus.
I think my mom loved that game. Everybody loved that game.
I remember our first computer at my house. You know, of course, like maybe the second day, I went.
You
and
were
looked
watching
up-
porn.
I looked up porn.
Yep.
Of course, it gave us a virus. So now my dad's in there, literally trying to go to MSN.com. So he types in MSN, and what pops up like this giant image of like a blowjob in process. And he calls me in. I'm like, "What are you looking at? What did you do to this thing?" I didn't do anything. Like, you're using it, not me. What did you look up? So that's
Yeah, no, that's universally terrible advice.
taught me a good lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, always delete your chat history,
Yeah.
search history, whatever. it
Never,
is.
ever turn off the ad blocker. Never.
Ever.
All right, William.
Okay, let's see. All right, because I'm married, so they all kind of come along. Married, family, blah, blah, blah. Have kids early in the marriage.
Ooh, I was hoping we would get into this one.
Yeah. So,
Dumb advice.
very dumb advice. And I don't really even know why people throw that out there.
I'll tell you exactly why.
Go ahead, because I still don't understand it.
They think it's better to be a young parent, so by the time the kid's older,
Oh, that's right.
you still have your whole life ahead of
That's
you.
right.
Doesn't really work out.
So let me piggyback this one because it was kind of something else that
Sorry.
I had thought of
Open up Popeyes.
was just societal expectations.
Okay.
similar.
Well, that is societal expectations in general.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a very broad one.
No. But like, you should be married by X. You should have a house. You should have kids. You should have this. You should have that.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I see what you're saying.
similar
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
But let me ask
Yeah.
you this: in regards to all that, is that mostly society telling us that, or is that really just us imagining society's telling us that? Do we come up with these numbers? Or I want to have I should be married by now. I should have a kid by now. Are we the ones telling ourselves that, or is it actually someone else? Because I've always thought it was myself.
No, I think it's a little bit of both. It's what you're surrounded by. So like, if all your friends are, married with kids at whatever, you kind of look at it a certain way. But I think societally, for a long time, not so much anymore, but there was this like timeline of things you did.
Mm-hmm.
You graduated college, you got married, you had the kids, you bought a house, you did this, you had the minivan, whatever. So that's like to where you say like,
Right.
you're married. Oh, we've been married a year and a half. We should have a kid now.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think again, like I said, I still don't. Well, I don't never actually personally heard that advice. And had I wouldn't have followed it anyway, because knowing now, obviously, and I mean, I'm 40, gonna be 42. I'm not old, but I'm not young, and my kids are 8 and 5. But I don't feel like, oh no, my kids are gonna, my daughter's gonna be, when she's 18, I'll be 52. It's not terribly
not
old.
that bad.
Like I never felt a rush. I felt like it was better for Britt and I to like really enjoy our time together before we involved kids. Even though we had, a longer engagement, we were, together for about 3 years before we actually got married. So we had time to ourselves before, but we still felt no pressure to jump into kids. And I'm kind of glad that we did. I think maybe having kids early, I don't know, because now I know how much kids wear you out.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And I'm okay being worn out now because I'm 42. Like I wouldn't want to be
used
worn
to it.
out at 32, you know? So no, I think that spending more time together as a couple, and really enjoying your marriage, because once they come along, it's just everything changes. Everything changes.
See, now, I didn't have it because we got married and automatically had a
Right.
family.
You had one.
instant family.
By the way, she's pregnant.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Is this
Thank you.
something? Is this new? Are we announcing something new on the podcast?
I did mention it
Oh,
briefly
okay.
before. I haven't made I'm gonna have like a whole episode about it at some point, but
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Should find out. I should find out the sex in the next couple days. Actually,
Awesome.
Congratulations, bro.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
It's
much.
exciting.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
very exciting.
Because
Yeah,
I know
so
you had
this-
said like you guys weren't sure if you were gonna have another one.
Oh
or-
no, we had said we're good. We're not gonna have another one.
Yeah. Well.
And then the
you go.
universe said, "Oh, is that so?"
Well, that was God's plan. So
It's all part of.
You're
God's
getting a girl.
plan. Why did you call someone? Did you pull some strings? Well, I don't,
Yeah. No, just because I feel like you like me. He said it to me for
I do
years.
like you.
No, I know. No, but you being
Why
like
you're here,
me,
Jeff.
they've said it to me when I have kids. They're like, "You're getting a girl." Like it's just gonna happen the way that you are as a person. Like,
If only it was that easy.
yeah,
It's
but-
50-50, so you could be right.
Yeah.
no, everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah, God works in mysterious ways. All right, whose turn is it now?
That'd be mine.
It's Jeffo.
Jeffo.
So do we want to do a quick one?
You pick, bro. We got time. We got a couple long lists here.
No, I know. But do we want to do a quick one we can glance over, or do we want to go into another one?
Take your pick, bro.
Take whatever you want.
All right. Do the quick one first.
Do a quick one, and we'll get back around. Because you've touched on this before, and I think we can glance over this pretty quickly, is the whole be a man.
Oh,
This is not going to be
I don't think it's a quick one.
This ain't a quick one.
It was
let me
on my
tell you.
list too.
Yeah, mine too.
So,
all right.
go ahead.
This is my right
This-
into my
this-
wheelhouse.
Your
The basis of this whole podcast.
your
you
hill
know?
to die on.
So I thought about this because I've actually gotten this advice,
Mhm.
and at one point in my life, it actually really worked, but it wasn't for the reasons why I think most people associate with that phrase "be a man" or "man up" or "act like a man." One of those things. A lot of times, especially at its core, we kind of just we look at that. We say, "Be a man," as don't show any emotion
Right.
and do the damn thing. It doesn't matter if you feel those emotions or whatever. Don't show any emotion. Sometimes it literally is like, don't have emotions because those are for bitches.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and
that's where I was getting with this.
so here's the problem. What it really should be, which you can use this advice kind of if you really think about it, it's kind of shitty wording anyway, but it's like, it's okay to have your emotions, feel your emotions, go through it, experience it, just don't let it control you. And that, I think, is a thing. So when you're afraid or when you're sad, it's okay to feel that way as long as that's not becoming you. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
that doesn't define you at that moment. Like, you feel them, you process it, and then you push through. And I think that in itself is the good advice that can be gleaned out of that. But that's the mistake, is that people think, oh, you don't have emotions.
Yeah.
Men don't have emotions. We don't feel anything.
Yeah, no.
And some guys internalize that their whole life to the point where literally, like, they don't even know how to let anything out.
Right.
Except when it comes time to fucking, kick the dog or punch a hole in the window.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I love coming and sitting here with you guys, and, like, we have real conversations and stuff. Like, we're not crying on the podcast and stuff, but, like, we actually get real conversations, which I don't think maybe our generation got a bit of it. Like, we're
doing better.
more open
We're better than our parents,
than
for sure.
our parents
Yeah.
were about it. But that whole, like, be a man, that we all know my dad, Red Foreman.
Make sure you pull this in front of you.
We all know my dad, Red
Oh
Foreman.
my god, look how much louder.
I can hear him.
We do.
And he's, manly man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my dad and I have ever, like, had, like, real open, honest conversations about, like, feelings, so to speak. If I go to him, I need help, he backs me up, whatever. But he's that generation before us that I go to work, I make my money, I'm the man, I do this.
Very stoic and steadfast.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, when my parents divorced, the first thing he said to me was, "You're the man of the house now." I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess then, do I need a gun now? Is that?
Well, yeah, well, I got one 2 years later, but wasn't my own. It was hidden at his house, but I was still shooting it. But yeah, it was like that. How am I supposed to be the man of the house at 7, 8 years old?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how old's your dad?
68.
Okay.
He's 30 years older than me.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Pull this. Keep it like 2 fists away from your mouth, because I'm getting agita right now.
Okay. Better?
Much better. So much
Okay.
better.
So much better.
Water bottle's in the way.
That's okay.
Thank you. I
No,
appreciate
the only
that.
reason I asked that is, and I guess it's probably because my dad's only 63, so 5 years younger than your father. But, I guess it just all has to be how they were raised.
Yeah.
Your grandfather was also
My grandfather was the same way.
exactly.
World War II vet, like beaches in Normandy, the whole nine, like worked at Mack Truck as a mechanic,
Yeah.
just work home.
I kind of
work
feel
home.
like that.
You met my
generation-
grandfather, you pulled bamboo.
Of course I did. But I feel like that generation specifically, especially when it comes to like, veterans,
Right,
our
right.
grandparents being in World War II or Korea or what have you, and sometimes even our parents being in Vietnam.
Right.
And then now you're getting into like Desert Storm, you're getting into Afghanistan and Iraq. Now there's always a war, and it's always like veterans literally had a reason to keep their emotions down.
Right.
Right.
So at some point in time, it served these guys. The problem is when they're not able to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
So I talked about this with Dr. John Schinner on an earlier episode, where it's like, when we talk about toxic masculinity and things like that, like
I hate that term.
It's a fraught term, but what it's actually describing is when the guys aren't able to accept and switch between emotions.
Right.
So it's like you have, Olivia's 8 years old. She's a little girl. She's
Yeah.
a cute little girl. Are you going to yell at her and scream and be firm and stern the same way you would with maybe a boy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'm
No, hey,
I think
I
I'm
mean,
wording this wrong.
No, but I mean,
Maybe,
but I
'cause-
mean, honestly, I'm not gonna like.
let me rephrase that before you answer.
God,
Are you going to be angry, screaming, and yelling? In the sense where you would go out with like a guy you work with, You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
there.
But that's what I'm saying.
the
Like,
difference.
You're able to switch between different modes there.
Right.
Like, why can't we do that with all the aspects and the different? What's the word I'm looking for? It's a spectrum. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if we're only allowing ourselves to be one way, then we're completely limited as human beings.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're not full humans, and that's the thing. Because with women are allowed to do all these things. They could be a tomboy. They could be a girly girl. They could go anywhere in between. And it's like, okay, well that's that woman. Like, but as men, we're the ones who say, oh, well, you're not a man if you don't do X, Y, Z.
Right.
So we place all these kind of these rules and all these restrictions on ourselves and each other, and we police each other. We enforce this on each other because we don't want to be picked on. So we pick on someone else. Like, well, what are you doing? What are you queer? Come on.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, and I know all of us, especially in our generation, like growing up, like that was stuff that we would say all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
now it's
guilty
different.
of that, definitely. But
We're all guilty of it, and we're all lying if we say we're not. But my point is that, it's a different time, and I feel like we've kind of evolved with the time.
yeah.
And we recognize that there's certain ways to be and certain ways that are not acceptable in modern society, and certain ways that not only are not acceptable, but they just don't serve us, and they
Yeah.
don't serve anybody else that is around us.
Agreed.
Especially not the ones that we care about.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's broader than where I was even going at. Was just not even being allowed to like have show emotion, feel emotion, like things like that. That you're told that we might have been told as kids from, years back with that generation that we were talking about. That oh, you're not allowed to, like, don't cry.
Don't cry, yeah.
Yeah, like little things like that.
Don't let them see you cry.
Don't let them see. And
See, now that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Because I would say, like, I understand sometimes when people say it, the sentiment may not be the right thing. It's saying, don't let them see you cry because you're going to look like a weakling. But in my eyes, if I was to tell my son, don't let him see you cry, don't give the bastards the satisfaction
Right.
of knowing that they got to it.
Exactly.
But that's the thing is explaining it farther is
that's the
understanding
key.
why I'm telling you to do this.
right.
And that's where, like, it's like, I want you to be a man right now. You don't want to let them see weakness in you. What you do when you get home, you can talk to me about it, whatever, that's fine. Don't let them see that they got the best of you.
To further explain that, don't let them see weakness, not because it makes you less of a man, but you don't want to give these people who
The
may have hurt you the
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Exactly.
Not because it makes you less than, but because you don't want to give them power over
Right.
you.
When you come home, you can do whatever you want. We'll talk
Yes.
about it, but do not give them the satisfaction of letting them know they
Right.
won.
Because then you become a target.
Yep.
And that kind of segues into, and it's just kind of feeding off of what my next one was. It's about how we tell our children to handle bullies at school.
We've been talking about this a lot lately.
Yeah, and it's everything from tell them that they hurt your feelings, or
Don't do that.
never do that.
Definitely
But that's
don't do
actually advice out there that people
Yeah.
tell their kids. Oh, just tell them that they hurt your feelings, or stuff like that. And that's not the way. I kids should be able to stand up to bullies. They shouldn't have to, where was I going with this?
They shouldn't have to swallow it and suck
Right,
it up.
exactly. Sorry, I blanked for a second. Yeah, no, and they should never admit to a bully how the bully made them feel.
See, you just brought up one that I didn't even have on my list that now I'm thinking of. Like, especially doing martial arts for most of my life growing up. So just walk away. Watch Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi. Fighting is no good. Somebody always gets hurt. See, okay, yeah, walk away, great. There's no violence, but now you got to live with that. And it's not a matter of, I guess it is kind of like ego and pride, but at some point, when somebody when they punk you, when they bully you, when they pick on you, for you to just walk away and take it and not stand up for yourself,
No, you have
I
to stand
feel
up
like,
for yourself.
yeah, that's a weight you're going to carry your whole life.
Yeah, I just had a discussion with Olivia about that.
And this is going to ruffle a few feathers probably because
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
and this is a touchy subject for me, especially with not having kids like you guys do. But I working with them, coaching them, and training them. Like, I feel like it's hard for kids to process, like, I'm just walking away, but I'm living with this person getting the better of me. And I will vividly remember forever my father, as we've talked about, Red Foreman being his, backwoods wannabe redneck self.
He's a charming man.
He is,
Very nice.
but he,
Shout out to you, Mr. K.
Mr. K, his whole if they're going to mess with you, you hit them back. If they touch you, you hit them back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 6 years old on the bus, and a kid spit on my head, and I kicked him in the face and knocked his 2 front teeth out.
Nice.
And
How
I
did
got
that-
home.
How did that finish up?
Well, I got home, and he's like, "What did you do?" And I told him I was a kid spit on my head. He was 2 years older than me, just bullying me because I was smaller. And I was like, and I kicked him in the face. He goes, "Okay, go to your room." That was it. Go to your room until dinner. And then he's, "Do you know why you did it?" "Yeah." "Are you okay with it?" "Yeah." "Okay." Like, should it have been handled that way? Probably not. But I was 6 years old, and all I knew was if somebody hits you, hit them back. And in my head, you spit on my head, I'm gonna, fight back.
See, like, how do you tell a kid, like, not, like, don't hit people, because I think a kid is just not developed enough to understand the finer points of pacifism and
That's it.
nonviolence.
Right.
Like, when it literally comes down to, being in 3rd grade on the school bus and somebody, punches you in the side of the neck, what do you, no, you shouldn't do that because
Exactly.
violence is not the answer. Like, yeah, good luck on the school bus explaining that.
Right.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say that kids should be violent. I don't want that to
No,
be
no, no.
the answer.
And
here.
this is where we're on a real
Yeah, I want to make sure
odd
we
tangent right
clarify here. But a person, a kid, boy or girl, doesn't matter, needs to stand up for themselves. It needs to learn that skill. Because I'll tell you one thing, getting beat up doesn't hurt as bad as carrying the weight of, feeling like you pussed out for the rest of your life.
And this is where I was going, was
one hurts a lot less than the other.
Absolutely.
if you get into a fight with someone, you take a punch, whatever, you lose said fight. And coming from 13 years of martial arts now and being bullied as a kid, you take the punch, you walk away, it sucks. But the weight of people chirping in your ear, like, we're older now, it can roll off the shoulder. We're content in who
Not
we
also.
sometimes.
That is true.
And I say,
Did you ever do this staying in the shower, like getting washed? Like, I can't believe I did that in the fucking 9th grade. You know what I mean? I should have kicked
Oh,
that
no.
kid right in the fucking dick.
oh yeah, of course. But I'm talking about now. Like, if somebody says something to us now, like, we're all content in who we are as people.
Yes.
It's, unless you're attacking my livelihood, like, if you're talking negative about my business, I have something to say to you. Other than that, or, you want to talk about my girl, my kids, like, now we have a problem. You want to run your mouth about me, I know who I am. The people closest to me know who I am. It does nothing to me.
Like, go ahead, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably right about most of it. I
You may have
probably
heard,
am all those
you
things.
may have heard
Exactly.
some stories that are true.
Yeah.
You may have heard some that are not, but whatever you're spouting about me personally, like, it's not going to affect me. The people that are important to me, the people that matter, know who I am. If you're not affecting my business, we're good. You're not affecting my livelihood. You say something about my girl or my kids, now we have a problem. Oh, completely different set of worms there.
Yeah.
But as a kid, to have that, like, and just walk away. And when it's constantly, especially, like, I would think in school and stuff, you're constantly surrounded by the same people saying the same things over, it wears on you. And that mentally, I think, needs to be addressed. Like, I hate to say it like this, but there's nothing wrong with punching someone in the mouth to shut them up if they just won't stop.
That's like I just said. We just had this conversation with my daughter. We were at the playground. There's a girl from the neighborhood who happens to be can be a little bullyish, and something must have set the girl off, and she went off on a tangent where she got on her bike and rode away, and then she came back. And she could tell she was angry, and I wasn't sure because I'd seen her how she handled another little girl from our neighborhood. I wasn't sure if she was going to do anything to Liv, but nothing happened. She was a little angry. She was violently pushing her on the swing, but no fisticuffs. But when we got back to the dinner table, I was telling my wife, and I said, Liv, if she came up to you and punched you, smacked you, I want you to hit her back. Don't. I've seen you hit your brother, no problem. Like, she's like, well, what if I was afraid? I'm like, are you gonna run? Are you gonna run away? No, you're gonna stand up for yourself. You can't be pushed around for something that this girl has no reason to be bullying you or any other kid. She's a habitual bully. So I know eventually it'll come to fruition, but I just want my daughter to be prepared to stand up for herself. Because again, I don't want her to live with that.
No.
You know?
The reason one of the reasons this hits home for me too is because like I'm not a tall guy, and I never was my entire life, and that unfortunately it just kind of makes you target a lot of the time, especially high school. There's always some fucking tall douchebag, and I see the same thing with my son because he's a short kid too.
Yeah.
The poor guy doesn't have a chance, and it's like he's such a nice kid too. Like
He is a nice kid.
Violence and stuff is so not in his repertoire.
Right.
Like it's just not him. Like I've taught him boxing. I'm teaching him a little bit of like self-defense stuff.
He didn't pick anything up from Smash Brothers.
You know what it is? Like if you watch like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and stuff, like yeah, he likes fighting stuff, but he doesn't like to do it in real life.
Right.
He doesn't like the conflict, and I could see him going through the same things that I went through. Like I saw like a kid that's this is the biggest bitch about bullying, and I talked about this on the last like 2 episodes. When you have a bully, like someone who's just a pain in the ass and just roasting you, just constantly coming for you, when it's either like you're a boy and it's a girl doing it, or if it's a smaller kid, where you would just look like the asshole if you like punched a little kid.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like everybody sees the reaction, they don't see the instigation. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it's like I saw that with him. Like a little kid was just kept fucking chasing after him, just kept fucking with him, and he's like, he's not getting hurt or anything, but it's like, what am I gonna do with this guy? Like, and I could see he's getting frustrated because he doesn't want to like hit a little kid,
Right.
But he also is getting real fucking fed up.
Yeah.
And that was like stuff that happened to me. Like I talked about like getting roasted every day on the bus by some fucking girl. Like a girl is like 3 years younger than me. What am I gonna do? Punch a girl? Like no,
Right.
it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So you're stuck. You're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
And that's the stuff. Like those are the things like I don't feel bad about those. Like I don't feel like I should have done something and I didn't.
Right.
It's just like you motherfucker. Like you just got to sit there and
One of those things that just weighs on your mind. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think there's also something that comes with just being older and experienced about how to phrase things.
Well, not everybody's good with
No,
the
no,
comebacks,
and
you know
that's
what I mean?
Not even comebacks. Just how to phrase things to a point of making people understand that if you don't cut the shit, this is going to end badly for you. Just how you word things that
But keep in mind,
accentuate. This is things kids won't get, and this is what I'm saying.
Not only that,
it
but
comes
even
with
if a kid
experience.
says something, it's like you don't stop. Like I'm gonna punch you. Like simple as that. A bully's usually gonna push you to that limit.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, let's see what you got to do, tough guy. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're gonna push you to that and make you cross that line.
And that's why I said only if you're hit first.
Right.
Yeah. Don't be the one that hits.
Well,
first.
that was always my dad's thing was never start it, but be the one to finish it.
Yep.
I think that's pretty fair. That's one of those old school things I think we can keep.
I think
We don't have to get rid of that one.
No,
we can keep that one.
like
Yeah,
that's
you,
good advice.
you should not walk away. If somebody puts their hands on you, you should never walk away.
Yeah.
Like crying, so to speak. Like that's one thing that I think the kid look take it to a point that you can take it. Never start it, but God damn it, if they put their hands on you, you make sure you finish it.
Yep.
Amen.
Or try hard.
All right. Since Will skipped me,
He did.
I did not.
He did. You did.
I did not.
yeah,
You
did.
piggybacked mine and you skipped him.
I got one.
Wait a second.
I can
take it back
remember-
to yours.
okay. So this piece of advice was not given to me. It kind of was indirectly. Like it was given to my father
Okay.
by my grandfather. And that's my biological father now. By his mom's dad, I guess. It had to be because anyway. So he told me when I was young. I think I was like 13. Yeah, I remember my grandfather told me, when I was young, he said, "Dad, never turn down a piece of pussy." Like really, just like that. That's it. That's the whole piece of advice.
How much penicillin did he have in his life?
But that like really, and I feel like that kind of thinking gets so many dudes into trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's like that, like the Chris Rock joke. Where he's talking about like I can stop chasing pussy. It's It's like, but if it's chasing me, all of a sudden I find out I can't run that fast. You know what I mean?
I forgot that one.
You got me. But that's the shit that gets guys into trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, okay, I could not go out and actively seek a girl. But if a girl shows interest in me, like some guys, they don't know what to do. They're like, all right, I just pursue this, right? This is what you're supposed to do? It's not my fault. She came after me.
Right.
It's like, no. And there's so many dark paths that can take you down.
Very much so.
You know?
Very much so.
I think this...
I mean, from a single standpoint, like it's opportunity to
but
see what's out there.
this is a different situation.
Right. Like you two were speaking from a different spot than I am. So.
But even if you're single, I mean, there are some...
Oh, no, I've walked away.
There's some lagoon creatures out there.
Yeah, you have to walk
This
away.
goes for girls and guys here and everyone in between. Like, sometimes you get some offers that you just don't want.
You got to know when to walk away.
Oh, no, I was out last night, and there was one sitting next to me at the bar. And she was actually
A lagoon
pretty
creature?
cute. Yeah, she was. But she was kind of a cute one.
After how much?
I don't know. But, like, poking me, like, hey. And I'm just like, oh, God, it's so drunk. Like, no, can't.
I guess I have to. Granddad said.
No, actually it was like, nope, can't do it. So drunk, not dealing with this stupidity. Like, she's probably like 23, 24. I was like, no, can't do it. It's not worth my time. The headache is going to be worse than
I don't know.
I wish I remembered. I don't.
It's been so long.
Yeah, dating today sucks.
I couldn't imagine. I
sucks.
I don't
It
like
sucked
to,
back when I was single, too. So, I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, you guys lucked out.
I honestly don't know what I would ever do if I were ever single. Honestly,
You know what I would do?
nothing.
Play video games in my underwear. That's about it. I would order out every night. I would order from Cornito's Taco Factory every night.
Yeah.
And I would play video games like all the way through until I beat them without stopping.
Yep.
I would go to work and I would come home and I would go to the gym and that was it. And I wouldn't even actively seek a female.
No, I know that I wouldn't either. No.
And let me just clarify for anyone listening, namely my wife, if she is. This is not. I was like, this is not saying that I want to be single again.
Right, exactly.
I'm just saying this is what would happen.
It's just one of those hypotheticals that we're talking
After
about.
you, baby, there's no one else.
That's right.
No one could replace you.
That's right. I will die alone. I will die alone, Brittany, if you're not in my life.
Yeah, I'm headed that route anyway. So
That reminds me.
we'll all be together.
I feel like every episode I have like a Bill Burr quote to relate to something. It's like he talks about don't get me wrong. If my girl left, I would be devastated, crying on the floor in a fetal position for about 3 days. And then, you go rub one out, you get back up on the bike, go back to the gym, tell yourself you're going to get the 6-pack back.
Never happening.
No.
Nope.
But seriously, though, it's okay to turn down sex.
Yes.
It's okay.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've been in some dry spells in my day where it's like, I probably shouldn't turn this down just for the sake of my mental well-being. But this is a bad thing.
There's some that I should have turned down, but I didn't. But
That's so yeah.
I have those, but
I'm trying to think if I have some that I should have turned down that I didn't.
I do.
I have some that I just wish I never met. Like it wasn't that like, something like an actual bad event happened. It was just like I could have done without this entire experience.
Yeah, I have a couple of those too.
All right.
I have a couple of years of one of those.
Don't we all? All right, Jeffo, what you got, buddy?
All right. So let's go with the one line I hate more than anything. Fake it till you make it.
Bro, that was the next one I had.
God.
That was the next one I had.
Fake it till you make it. I hate that.
I feel like that's Instagram.
Well,
That's social media in a nutshell right there.
Essentially,
now it is.
Yeah.
I just try to look like I've got my shit together until I can get ad revenue and actually become a legit influencer.
God.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about it from that aspect, but anyone on social media who looks like they're living their best life
Is not.
and having the greatest time ever and are the most perfect person ever is in the worst place in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they feel that they have to put that out there,
If you
for
have
people
to put
see.
it out in front of everyone, you are not doing well.
Well, I feel like there's some cultures and some like environments where it's like that's what everybody's doing. Because for instance,
Sure.
if you go to Miami, okay, you see, I've talked about this before, where it's Miami is a place. It's a beautiful place with gorgeous people. And it's like, imagine if you have a perfect ecosystem where it's just all predators. And I'm not saying people are predators, but what I'm saying is that it's all competition. Like, there's no normal people. Everybody's like hyper competitive. Everybody's going to the gym and on steroids and got perfect hair with eyebrows, and the girls have fake tits and fake asses. And like, if you don't have that, you're not even competing with anyone. And it just escalates and escalates and escalates. And everybody there is trying to be an influencer. Everybody there, buy this bikini that I had in this picture for 10% off using my code on this website. I said, yo, don't you work at Target? Like, what the fuck is happening? What are we doing here?
And there are some people that are using social media to further their career in the right way. Like, there are people who...
Shout out to Nick if you listen to this. We didn't forget about you, brother. He's down in Miami. He's my man. He's my man my man on the inside.
Okay,
Nice.
Shout out to Nick.
What's up, Nick?
And he's competing too. Guy's in good shape. He's a good-looking kid.
No, and there are hustlers
You got
that are
it, Nick.
using social media to further their hustle that they're doing day in and day out. But I'm talking about the people who are like... So I'm gonna give a good example, and I'm gonna shout out a friend of mine.
You sure you don't want to give a bad example?
Well, I'm gonna give the good example first.
I'm the bad example first.
I'm gonna give the good example first, and I'm gonna shout out a friend of mine, author Nicolene Evans. She writes a lot of great books, and a lot of her stuff is promoting the books, showing pictures at Comic Cons and what she's doing and using social media that way. And then she'll put things up about like, oh, I went on this like hike, and she's showing like an awesome shot that somebody took while she's in the Rockies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Little bits of her life, but mostly promoting her business.
Okay.
Social media is awesome for something like that. We are in a day and age where you can build a business on social media and do it right. I'm talking about the people who are like...
This is what we're doing right here,
Yeah.
technically.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people who are like every day like, oh, I'm in the best place. This is my girlfriend is the hottest thing ever. And this, but then like somebody posts a picture of them that they have to get deleted of them throwing up in the
Take
bathroom.
that down right away.
Yeah. People who are putting stuff...
Take it down now. I'll fucking kill you.
And
Take it down.
I think some of the worst people are the ones who are throwing the inspirational quotes up every day because they're trying to make themselves believe
Yeah.
it.
I feel like a lot of... You see this big on Facebook with like the older crowd kind of like just a little younger than our parents' generation.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like they got onto Facebook now and they think like, oh, every day I'll just share 17 inspirational quotes or
Right.
quotes about, oh, don't mess with me before I have my coffee in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like the dumbest fucking memes. Like, guys, I don't think this is what this is for.
And I like a good laugh with them. Like I put one up a
We're
couple...
supposed to be arguing about politics.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what Facebook is for.
It's for.
I'm supposed to be arguing about the GDP with my aunt right now, okay?
No, and that's where basically like I use mine for is I'll throw something up that I find funny. Like I put something up a couple weeks ago that was like coffee wasn't strong enough, tequila was good this morning, everyone looks so pretty. I think that was the exact quote of the
good, I
meme.
like
It was funny to me.
But you
I
don't
was
do that
not taking
incessantly.
no, but I don't do it every day. I wasn't taking
Exactly.
shots of tequila on Monday morning.
Exactly.
And I love a good quote. There's the great one from Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. Like every once in a while you have those feelings like, hey, I want to put something out there that I'm feeling in the moment. But when you're doing it consistently, like every day, like, oh, this, that, unless it's really helping your business, like, I'm pretty sure I don't know if you know Corey B, who works at Lifetime, went to school with us. She is a yoga teacher over there. Like, she's constantly putting up, like,
At Lifetime?
yeah, she's a yoga instructor at Lifetime. She went to school with us. I thought you might know her. But she's constantly putting up, like, inspirational stuff with, like, yoga stuff and whatever and helping people out. Different things.
You're a
She's using-
trainer, yeah. That's
She's using it to further her business.
yeah.
When you're just, like, throwing the quote up there every single day, it's like you're trying to make yourself believe it. Anyone with half a brain can see that you're not really doing it.
Here's the thing. I don't mind the inspirational or motivational quotes it's the stuff where it's like people that try to like your cousin from down south is posting like, oh, you know, don't I only have 2 modes, like lovable and go fuck yourself, like, you know, something like that, where it's kind of like, I'm tough, don't mess with me, one of those kind of things.
Right.
It's guys, come on.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about with the be a man thing. Like, they're just not speaking to anyone and actually letting things out. They're just trying to balance it with a life that they want to have. If that makes
fair.
any sense.
No, it's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Will, what do you think about fake it till you make it?
Yeah, I think I have to agree. It's a lot of stuff with the social media. It is. People are just posting stuff and trying to portray themselves in a light that they think people want to see, and I feel like they are hiding a lot behind that.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a lot of pain behind that. You know, they're just putting something out there that they won't think that, you know, they want friends to see. I'm doing this, and
Well, it's literally like you're putting up a facade for the world to
that's
see.
all it is.
You don't want them to. I don't want them to see me because they might not accept me.
That's
I
all it
have
is.
to look like I have it all together.
If I'm doing something, you know, I'm doing this cool thing today,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then they want people to see that, people to know that they're doing this cool thing today.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that putting up that front is that as soon as that facade gets pierced, then
It just takes one little puncture.
it looks worse.
Yep,
Because you were out there talking shit like you knew what you're doing, and you're still
Here
fucking
you
up
are.
just like I am.
exactly.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that goes on more so than we know.
I think it goes on a lot, especially I know in my line of work. Like when you get the guy's a new foreman or something, and he's walking around like he's hot shit.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, we were just working together 2 weeks ago, doing the same thing.
yeah.
You don't all of a sudden know more than me because you get $5 extra an hour. Like
Nope.
you end up shooting yourself in the foot in the efforts to look like you have it all together.
Yep.
Like, just we know who you are. Just stop being a dick. Talk to me like a human being. I'll do my job. You do yours. It's all good.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, in none of us, anyone listening, anyone watching, anyone sitting at this table, we don't know it all. And
That's not true. I know it all.
Well, you just can't remember it all at one time.
Yeah.
But
I just forgot some of it. That's all.
right. But nobody has the answer to everything, and that's the biggest issue with that. Is it kind of gets you to this point of like, I don't want to look like I'm in a vulnerable place. I mean, you guys have known me 20 plus years. I have never been in the greatest spot until, and I don't even want to say it's the greatest spot, but like I'm finally in a place. It took me 38 years to get into a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I don't want to say I faked it for a while, but I just never talked about shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept everything quiet. It was just, yeah, I'm good. How many times do you guys say, hey, what's going on? I'm good. I didn't put things out there like, oh, you know, I'm winning. You know, winning. I wasn't Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
But,
Winning.
but
Winner, chicken dinner.
right. But it took me a long time. And there's nothing wrong with taking time to get to where you're at. And that's where I hate about that quote is like, I don't feel like I was ever faking anything. Like anyone who knew me, anyone who I dealt with in business, anything, I was straight up on everything. And maybe that's why it took me so long, because I don't have a filter maybe when I should.
Don't know when to shut up, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a flaw. But I was never fake. I don't think anyone who's ever known me could say I'm a fake person. And that's why I hate that, because it gives people a false idea of, if you do this for long enough, you'll eventually get to where you want to be.
I was just talking to your brother about this, I think
About me?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Of course.
Hell, he has to say.
I was asking him how you were doing. He said, "No, he's actually kicking ass right now with his job.
See?
Like, that's fucking awesome." And
Yeah.
we were talking about it. I was saying, you know what's funny? I haven't seen Jeff since the last time he came by to do the podcast, which is the last time you both were here.
Right.
I'm like, Jeff is such a good guy, and I feel like sometimes like you have that thing where you come off like
I can be an asshole.
but I'm trying to say it in a nice way.
I'm saying
No,
it
you can
exactly
say,
how it can be
Jeff-
said.
Jeff
I
can-
can be an
Jeff
asshole.
can be an asshole.
Well, listen, here's my point that I was saying is that even with all that, and even with I haven't seen you in all this time, I'm willing to bet, and I was telling this to Drew, George was there, Rob was there, Max was there. I said, I could call up Jeff tonight and tell him I needed help with something. And it's like, could he come
In
Could
the
he-
car in a second.
Exactly. Like,
That's
I don't
it.
know why I went into this. I don't
Yeah.
know why I just brought that up, but I just thought of it, and I'm like,
No, I can come off, and I think a lot of that has to do with what I've done for jobs and stuff over the years, like DJing and things like that. Like club promoting. Like I developed a weird persona where I can come off a certain way, but those who know me, like
we know who you are.
my phone's never. Yeah, you know who I am as a person. My phone is never off. You call me at 3 a.m. as Steve. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I'm in the car in 5 minutes.
Right.
All right, so what are we at? We're at.
I
over-
just went, so I think it's your
it's
turn
my
again.
turn. I have two more.
Ooh.
I have one or two more.
My next one is well, let's do a quick round. We each do a quick one.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then the one after that will be the last one.
Okay.
All right. So my quick one was one that a lot of young guys would probably identify with this one. So don't rent. You're just throwing away money.
It's the goddamn one I was going to pick. So good. That's
So this was
Crossing
also
stuff out of there.
this was also referenced by Ryan L.
Mm-hmm.
on the Facebook post that I put up when I asked for some suggestions. So Ryan, shout out. Hope you're doing well down in North Carolina. But
Right.
the money advice,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So listen, there's nothing wrong with renting an apartment. Like you don't
Not-
have to buy a house right off
Not
the bat.
at all.
And now, if you're planning on staying in the same place for like 10, 15 years, okay, that's a different
Great.
story. But when you rent, you're not handcuffed to this place. You don't. For instance, I can tell you from personal experience, it is the greatest feeling in the world to have something break and say, "Oh, I don't have to fix that. I can call the landlord."
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a huge thing.
Yeah, especially as a guy, I'm like, I didn't really need it that much anyway. I can work around it.
We are kind of lazy on that.
Yeah.
But
It is definitely a whole.
Who needs a shower, right?
It's a giant step of stepping into huge responsibility when you own. It's definitely I've rented I rented quite a bit when I was younger, and then I've actually owned two different places, and it's a huge responsibility, huge undertaking owning something. And I mean, there's a lot of money that I spend that I throw away. Association fees. I have some of the highest in the town that I live in, and I get very little for it.
That was a deal breaker for me. I don't want to pay any. I don't want any homeowners association.
Yep, it's awful. But I feel like renting, we just, well, we're paying for something that we don't own, but we can just go.
Yeah, you're not handcuffed.
Exactly. You're not handcuffed to anything. And again, something breaks. You go ahead, fix it.
Yeah, it is much cheaper than owning too.
It
Well,
is.
I think too the thing with renting, especially when you're young, you're going to be paying said payment whether you own or you rent. So now it's teaching you to budget. Okay, I've got this. I got this. I can still save. I can do this. I can go on vacation. I can buy a car. I can do whatever. So it's kind of putting everything together for you without actually having the handcuffs of fixing everything and taxes and all the other stuff that come along with it. So renting as a younger person especially is not a bad idea. Where I came to Ryan was his thing was he mentioned in the Facebook post, don't buy things you can't afford. Which, if his exact words, I think were
Don't buy things you can't pay for in cash.
in cash.
Yeah.
Exactly was how
Right.
he worded it,
Right.
which is also stupid advice. Like, yeah,
You're not going to have a decent car.
you shouldn't finance a TV,
Right.
but if you got to get a new car, you got to get a new car.
Right.
Nobody-
There's some things that
Right.
I mean, an appliance breaks and you need an appliance. Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do something like that.
or as he put it, which was a lot of the advice I got put on. I just put it on credit and pay it off, which is also terrible advice.
Not good advice.
Yeah. No.
So, all right. So, who's next? Because
Well, that's kind of the same. I mean,
I feel like that
It
works.
was well.
yeah. Well, mine was renting is throwing away money. There's no such thing as too much credit. That's and then also carrying a high credit card balance or carrying a credit card balance just to keep your credit going. No, terrible ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up
I don't
getting
know. I
someone's-
don't know much
See,
about this.
I do because I've been there, and I mean, maybe if you're good with money and you pay attention to stuff like that, but sometimes you can get caught in a trap. Where you don't realize, then you start to get another credit card. Oh, they just keep giving me these credit cards. oh, I'm gonna get this credit card because I can transfer the balance of this one. I'll get
It
0%.
just becomes too easy.
Yeah, it just becomes too easy, and it's a big snowball.
Yeah.
You know, so credit cards, they can be the devil. They're helpful sometimes, but if you're not careful, they can.
Yeah, I went through that when
Yeah.
me and Betty first met. I had 2 credit cards. One had a 0 balance. One had like $1,000 on it, and I was good. I had no debt. Everything was beautiful. And then from traveling back and forth to Miami for 2 years, and trying to pay for a wedding and an engagement ring and all this stuff. Next thing you know, I have a 3rd credit card now, and oh wait a minute, they're all maxed out.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
That's
And it
that's
wasn't
insane.
so much that I was just buying frivolous stuff, but I was trying to do all this stuff, and I didn't have anybody else just throwing money at me that I
Right.
could borrow from here and there. So I had to figure out a way to come up with it.
Right.
And then you take out a loan on top of it,
Yep.
and then next thing you know, you're like fucking $30,000 in debt.
It becomes convenient.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. You know, something happens like car repair. Something oh, well, I got the credit card. I'll throw it on the credit card. You know, I can't take it out of this week's pay. And then the next thing you know, oh, great, another one. Oh, no, this tire popped. What, and it just, that's what I'm saying. It just snowballs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank God I was able to get out from that that precipice.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been there before.
All right, Jeff, you got a quickie?
Let's see. And I think I got a fun one that we'll end on, but let's start with this one. Don't listen to negative people. And I say that in the context of there are people out there who will just give you unpleasant advice that is a lie to make you feel good rather than the truth that you need to hear, whether you want to hear it or not.
Okay. I mean, I guess that boils down to, like, sometimes the truth hurts, but doesn't mean you don't need to hear it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
they just
fair.
Candy coat things for your feelings.
Well, a lot of people, a
Yeah.
lot of people want to label people that tell them unpleasant truths negative.
Right.
That guy's a fucking downer. It's like, well, he's trying to help you, just because it doesn't feel good to hear what he's saying, it doesn't mean you should just ignore it.
Right. They're like, oh, that guy's negative. You don't need anything that he's saying, whatever. It's like, no, he's actually telling you the truth.
Yeah. He could
just-
totally be an asshole, but that doesn't make him wrong.
I'm never wrong.
Right here. But, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes people aren't negative. They're just trying to give you things straight so you have a realistic perception of what's going on.
No, that's fair.
No, it is true. Like I say, it might sound negative, but a lot of what I tell you guys is true. You know, just so you know, I'm not just being an asshole. I'm just. No, it is. I mean, I like to give blunt advice. I don't like to shy away from people's feelings.
Yeah,
And, like I don't want somebody to candy coat something. Like if I come to you for advice, I'd rather you say like, look, this is gonna suck for me to tell you, but
You're going to
This is
hate
what
to
it
hear it,
is.
but
But that's the thing. There's a way to tell. You could tell it to somebody straight, but you don't have to be like brutal about it. Like you could be honest.
right.
There's a difference between honest and brutally honest.
Right.
Like, you can tell them like, listen, I know this is gonna suck, man, and I'm only telling you this because I
I'm
give a
your
shit
friend,
about
right,
you.
Exactly.
right.
Like this is what's going on. Like you're fucking up here. Like
There is a
sorry,
w-
but that's the way it is.
There is a way to word it. But there
Yes.
are still people who, because they just want it a certain way, they're going to label you as negative or whatever. It's like, it's not negative. You should take what those people say
But
because
some people are just like sadistic. You know what I mean? Like they get off. They enjoy telling. Like, hey, I hate to tell you, but every girlfriend you ever had cheated on you. With me, sorry. You know what I mean? Like some people that just take a little too much enjoyment in telling you bad news.
Yeah.
of course, we've all had them around us. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, people tell you,
Thanks
oh,
for keeping me around, guys. Yeah.
right. They're like, oh, stay away from that person. They're always negative. It's like, no, they're actually the one that's giving you truth. You may not want to hear it, but they're giving you truth. Whereas everyone else is just kind of putting pillows around you so that you get through the next week or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was my quick one, I guess.
All right. So last round. Mine. This to me, Steve B.
Steve B.
This is something that I've definitely talked about before. So if you've heard it, I apologize, but gotta reiterate this one. Tell me if you've heard this. blood is thicker than water.
Yes, I have.
Tell you, family is the most important thing. Your family's going to be here. Your friends aren't going to be around forever. Your family is what matters.
We've discussed this previously.
And I'm going to say it again because you know what? Sometimes family fucking sucks.
Yep.
And sometimes family is the biggest fucking backstabbing, two-timing piece of shit cocksuckers you've ever met. And just because you share DNA, all of a sudden what you're supposed to be, oh, you're a good person now, I have to keep you in my life. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my life.
Look.
Because you know what? Being family, being related to someone, some people view it as, oh, well, I could be an asshole to them. You know, that's my brother, that's my sister. I could be an asshole. They're gonna be around where are they gonna go? You know, we're
Right.
related, we're family. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is that just becomes like an excuse for people to treat you badly because you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Well, guess what? I went somewhere.
Yep.
Cause I don't deserve this.
Right.
I don't do that to you, so I don't want it done to me. And this is if you're gonna treat me like that, then I'm not gonna be around. And I don't care if we have the same last name. I don't care if we grew up together. If you're gonna be an asshole to me, I'm gonna cut you off the same way I would anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's how I've lived my life, and I stand by it so firmly that I can't even word it enough, firmly enough, how much I believe in this.
Right.
Being family does not give you carte blanche to be
Definitely
a piece
doesn't.
of shit.
It definitely
No, we've
doesn't.
spoken about family that on previous episodes that has been cut out.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, like family is people at this table. You know, my brothers and I are tight. My parents and I are good, but like family is people at this table. Family is people that, you know, we see at birthdays, at holidays, whatever it might be. And it may be months that we don't get together because we all have lives. We're all busy. We all have things going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, like we just talked about a couple minutes ago, you pick the phone up at 3 a.m. and you call me. I'm there.
Yep.
There isn't a moment that he knows he can't pick the phone up and I'm there.
Absolutely.
That's family. I don't care if we're blood or not.
Yeah, nah, you guys have always been brothers to me, you know, and I personally don't have any real major instances of family troubles in regards to something that you obviously have.
Yeah. I feel a way about it.
Yeah, I could tell. You know, yeah, families aren't perfect, and you know, my mom and I definitely had some issues. You know, there was a time in my life where I did kind of stay away from my mom's side of the family, because it was all women, and it was me. I was the only man, and so I just kind of kept to myself. But there was never anything really vindictive or spiteful. You know, my mom definitely, she had some issues, and that's sad because you know when she got cancer and then died, it's something that I wish we had rectified then, you know. But I've never really had any major issues like, you know, I know you and,
We won't mention. But...
right, and you as well. But I definitely see that I have a lot of friends that I feel are closer sometimes than my own family.
Definitely.
You know,
Well, I think also friends
become family.
Well, it's not just that they become family, but also they recognize it's like, you know, I don't have to be here in his life. He doesn't have to include me in this.
Right.
Like I'm here because he actually gives a shit and he trusts that I give a shit as
It's
well.
the family you choose.
Yes.
Right.
And too often family members take that for granted.
Right.
They think that I'm just going to be here no matter what because we're family and that's how it is. And I just don't buy that. Right. And you know, this is not to say that my entire family is fucked up because they're definitely not. Like there are some wonderful people in my family.
Right.
You know, like my mom and my stepdad, like
Nope.
I love them to death. We don't always get along and sometimes I disagree. And sure, there's issues there.
But that's any relationship with anyone ever.
They're certainly not bad people.
Right.
They've always, and if ever I've needed help.
Ralphie's hilarious.
What's up, buddy?
I love Ralphie.
But like, if
Drew,
ever,
what are you doing up there?
better not be touching yourself. It makes you weak. But anyway, if ever I did need to ask for help, like I've been able to depend on them, and I hate doing it, but there have been, you know, a couple times in my life when I've needed to, and they've been there for me.
No, I say the same.
I try not to abuse that. You know, I guess it's a privilege that
100%.
parents that can and would help.
Yeah.
100%. As much as I've joked about my dad, I would not be where I am today without my dad. 100%. And without my mom. Like they they're very, very different people, very, very different personalities, very, very different dynamics of how they raised me. But I would not be where I am without either one of them.
I feel bad sometimes, like for my mom. I know I put my mom through hell because I was a troubled teen, troubled kid
I
kind of.
think we all kind of were.
But you know, it's like that adolescence where you don't know where you fit in. You're just sad and you don't know why.
Yep.
Especially you listen to a lot of fucking emo music and stuff, and
Yep.
a lot of Dashboard Confessional and say I don't know why I can't cheer up. But I always kind of struggle to find my place in the world, and I know that that there's been issues I've had with my mom that I haven't been able to what's the word, to verbalize. And I know that she's a fucking smart lady. Like,
Yeah.
my mom's been through some shit, and she's really come out well. And I know that she knows that there's things that could be better that aren't, and it's pretty much all on me at this point, because I know if I sat her down, like, she would be willing to listen.
Right.
I feel confident that she would. But
That's hard though. Like, how do you?
Sometimes you just have to, dude.
Yeah.
I talked about this last episode I did solo. Like, me and my sister never got along, like, growing up.
Which one?
Well, I'm not going to say
Say
the
names, but
the one closest in age to me.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I always felt like my mom would defend her instead of taking my side, especially because a lot of the I don't want to say abuse, but like a lot of the shit that I would get, I kind of bullying a little bit. Like I said,
you're
getting
the
bullied
boy.
by girls because you can't do anything back.
right.
Like, I always felt like the bulk of it came from my sister, and because my mom didn't want to take sides with one kid against the other, from where I was sitting, it looked like my mom wouldn't defend me.
Right.
I mean, what she's really trying to do is defend both kids, but when my bully is living in the same house with me and she's not taking my side, it feels like, all right, well, I'm on my own. So from then on, I always kind of like, I don't want to depend on any of you fucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird because it's not like she's a bad mom by any means.
Right.
Like, she's a great mom. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it was a weird situation. And whatever my sister was going through, I'm actually old enough to look at it as like, well, I don't think that she's a bad person. I think that she was acting out because of some shit that was going on in her life.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's certainly not that she hates me. I think, if anything, I'm the one with the grudge. I don't know why I'm getting into such detail. with
That's
this.
okay.
Well,
Fine.
but you think
This
about
is what
that,
we're
like,
here for.
Yeah,
no,
but
you think about that too, is like the position your mom was in of splitting two kids and like trying to play both sides or whatever. So, like you just said, you have one on the way. Now, throwing this back to what you just said, you have one coming that is yours. Now, I know how much you love Tyler and how awesome Tyler is. Technically not yours. So now, how do you manage that dynamic?
Well, the beauty is, since Tyler has been in my life, I haven't treated him like he's a step kid. I just treated him
100%. 100%.
But that's the rub, because if I'm already treating him like he's my flesh and blood, I'm not trying to take his father's place.
Nope.
I'm just trying to make sure that he has the love and support that he needs growing up.
Right.
And this is
And
where some
that
people
doesn't change because another kid is along.
Right. And I think you'll do great with that. But this is where some people fall into that gap of like, well, this one's quote unquote mine.
Yeah, I could do things the way I want with this one.
Right.
Now
Right.
and let his mother take care of
And
it.
you've been awesome with Tyler, and like I don't feel like you would change the dynamic, but like that's what I'm saying is like, you fall into that gap of how do you handle this? How do you think
This
about
has
it?
definitely been discussed at great length. But because that was, to be honest, that was one of the reasons why I really didn't want to have another kid, because
Right.
I was afraid of being in that position.
Right. Exactly.
And I've been,
Which was what I figured.
And listen, I've been really trying to be the best dad I can for Tyler.
And you've done
it's
great
hard.
with it.
No, but it's hard, and I sometimes I fail. You know what I mean? And I can admit that and accept that, as long as I, promise to myself and to him and to my wife that I'm going to keep trying.
Right.
And where I fuck up here, I'm going to try to do better and not make that same mistake. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna let you guys do this because I can't even speak for many.
anyway, when they say blood is thicker than water, tell them to go fuck their mother. Because
There you go.
It's bullshit.
There you go.
All
So
right.
Steve, I mean, since it's my turn, and we'll just again this is how I know I didn't skip you last time, because it's building off something you were saying.
You definitely
Never
skipped me.
let your kids see you fail.
Never let your kids see you fail.
And you were just ripping about that, about not letting it, about it was okay, and just saying that I was going to try harder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly it. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, obviously we don't want to fail. You know, we want to do everything that we can and always do everything right. But of course, we're going to fail sometimes, you know, and nobody's perfect. But it's okay, and if anything, I think it's pertinent for our kids to see us fail so that they can learn from that. You know, like I feel like I'm trying to think of a good example of a minor failure. You know, not something major like they're coming to take the house away. You know, like, you know what? I didn't pay the bills for 10 years. I'm sorry, kids. I failed.
Sorry, kid. Daddy just likes betting on the ponies.
You know, like just something. I can't think of a good minor example, but you got laid off at work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a failure, but it's a learning experience. You know, something it happens. You know, I tried hard. You know, I worked my ass off in this company. Just they cut me.
Mm-hmm.
Not my fault, but it's a learning experience. It happens. You know, I want your kids should be able to see you fail, but learn from that. As should you. You should be able to take that and say, "This is what I'm going to do to make up for this failure. I'm going to move past this."
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm kind of glad that was my last one. It's weird how it just segued into that.
I think that's good. Like, I don't think you want them to see you fail within the family dynamic, so to speak.
Right.
You don't want to let them see bad
Well,
within.
define fail. That's the key right there. Like, what do you mean by fail?
Yeah.
Like if you're having like the knockdown, drag out fights in front of kids or something like that. And this is just coming from someone from a family of divorce.
We're all in the same boat.
Right.
Yeah, we're all.
So you know where I'm coming from that. Like
Mm-hmm.
those things like that I think would portray failure in a negative light that they shouldn't see. But like you said, this is how the world works. Like this happened. I'm still going out. I'm going to figure out, hey, we're still
Right.
going to eat. We're still going to this. Bad things happen. We're going to try to find a way to make it work.
Exactly.
That's real life. They should have that experience.
Right. Show them that just because you failed doesn't mean that it's over.
That it's over.
Definitely.
You're gonna
You
keep
don't
pushing.
give up.
Right. You never give up if you fail.
Right.
All right, Jeffo.
All right,
Last
so-
one of the night.
I actually think this is a good one. Anything that anyone ever says to you that starts with just let it go. Just be okay with it. Just move on. Just whatever. It's invalidating any way you might feel about something that's happening to you.
Okay.
I could see that. The just does kind of make it seem.
Was I saying, fuck
Simple.
whatever you were thinking before. Just push through it.
Right. It kind of circles back to something I think we touched on maybe an hour ago. Like we
I like that one.
yeah, well, we can probably wrap on that real quick, but anything that starts like it, just move on.
It does. It does sound
Yeah.
like it's simplifying.
Just get
everything.
over it. It's simplifying and negating any way you might feel about something, and it goes back to the be a man thing, like where we were talking about that.
Just be a man.
right.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't worry. Who, you have feelings?
Negate anything
Just
that
be a
you
man.
are feeling about this. Just get past it, and that is just terrible. Like, learn to process things.
Learn to process things.
Yeah, just learn to process it. No, but like
That's really interesting. I never even thought about that.
think
Yeah, I
think
never
about
really did either.
think about anything people have said to you in the past. It's like, it's just this. It's just that. Oh, wait, you just go get another job. Just go get another girl. Like, whatever it might be. Like, it's
You know how long it took me to stalk the first one?
listen, my binoculars broke. How am I supposed to figure this out again?
Just go buy more.
Right. I don't have the money. But
Just get a job.
What, I'm supposed to just go buy another shovel and a bag of lime? What am I, made of money? It's a joke, guys. It's just a joke. Gotta clarify. Just a joke.
we're just Italians from Jersey, okay?
Baby, I swear it's just a joke.
Just a joke.
I'm just joking.
But yeah, like it was something that was coming to me the other day. Just things that have been said to me. Just do this, just do that, just whatever. It's like
Just say no.
just say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
didn't work
just
out.
like that.
That didn't work out well for all of us.
Nancy was full of shit.
Officer, no name.
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to end on a fun one that will just make us all laugh?
Okay. What do you got?
YOLO.
YOLO. You only live once. Yeah.
Will pointed it out, and it's
Like,
just
that's
sitting
just
there.
silly. That's just so
I think there's
silly.
a reason we don't say that one anymore.
Live like it's your last day. you
Yeah.
know?
I don't think we ever said that one.
The last thing I want to do on my last day is be doing dishes at 10 o'clock when I get home. YOLO.
YOLO. You know what that reminds me of? Dance like no one is watching.
Hey, why?
Like, really?
You do
Why
that
did I
all the
write
time
that
anyway.
down?
No, I dance like everyone is watching.
Because everyone is.
Big
Yeah,
difference.
Amazing. I
Thank
still remember those days.
Oh, I missed the Breakfast Club.
I was just talking about that. Well,
Or-
actually,
or
it'll be
Havana.
on next week's episode.
Oh, I love that place.
Colin matching the floor with his jacket.
Hi,
Good
Colin.
for something, that guy.
Hi, Colin.
Always.
Hi, Colin.
What's up, Colin?
All right, boys. Well, that's it for tonight.
That was a good one.
It was fun.
I'm still nervous. It never left. I'm shy.
All right. So, do you guys anything you want to close on? Or are we good?
I don't
Any
think so.
Final words of wisdom? Any little pearls you want to drop on someone?
No, I think we touched on a lot of stuff.
I think we hit it all.
I
Oh.
knew this was going to be a good topic for the show.
No, once we got rolling, it just.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boys, thank you very much.
Thanks for
being
having
here.
us again.
Thanks for having us
It's-
again. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm glad that you.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Oh, hey.
Thank you to the viewers and the listeners.
Hey.
As always, you guys know where to find us. APodAmongstMen on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. At APodAmongstMen. Email us at APodAmongstMen@gmail.com for any long-form questions or requests or any questions you want answered on the show. That's where you find us. And, as make sure if you're watching, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're listening, make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the show, like it. Just please, it helps the numbers. I know it seems silly to some people. They're tired of hearing it. But
Any
it really does help.
platforms you get your podcasts on.
Yes, please, iTunes, make sure you give us a rating. I don't think there's a lot of other platforms that actually have ratings aside from iTunes.
Yeah, but you can listen.
Yeah, just listen and follow and subscribe if you can. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, we're there.
Wow.
So, thanks again, folks. I guess we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Peace. Oh, by the way, if you're hearing this, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
It's
Stay safe.
Today is Thanksgiving. Wink, wink.
It's tonight.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Turkey.
Peace.
Turkey.